Why you have done such a thing?
Thank you for holding. My name is Jada. With our promotion today, you have been selected to receive a free medical alert system. So congratulations. And are you familiar with medical alert systems?
I am not, no. Hello?
Say that again, sir?
No, I'm not familiar.
Yes. All right, well, to let you know, it is that little button you wear around your neck that you would press for help in case of any kind of emergency, like a bad fall. You probably seen similar products advertised on TV, haven't you?
I know my grandchildren watch those Power Rangers and they push a button. I've never heard of that kind of button pushing.
Oh, okay, no problem. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's like a life-saving device, any kind of emergency. And the great thing about our alert system is that it's not just for medical emergencies. So you can now use this for security as well. Like anytime you're so nervous or in danger, like in the case of a fire or a break-in, you just simply press the button and you'll know that emergency services are on the way.
Okay.
And our emergency button will give you that peace of mind.
Okay.
Knowing that if anything at all happens to you, but yes, sir, we're definitely going to be there for you. At the push of a button, and that the help you need is on the way.
Okay.
And again, my name is Jada. And just so I can refer to you properly, may I have the correct spelling of your first and last name?
It's Gary. Do you want me to spell Gary for you?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay.
And what's your last name?
My last name is Willikers. Willikers.
Thank you so much.
What's your last name,
now,
Jada?
Sir, is your interest in our... No, Jada Smith. Jada Smith.
Jada, like Pinkett Smith?
Not Jada Pinkett Smith. I'm a different Jada.
I'm a big fan of
Yes,
Will Smith. He's a great guy. I really enjoy his movies. In particular,
yeah, he's my favorite actor.
Yeah, I really enjoyed The Pursuit of Happyness. That was a very heart-wrenching and very touching story.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I watched that with my grandchild, and I was shedding tears, and my grandchild asked me if I was okay, and I definitely wasn't, because it was just so heartfelt, you know, like when he's in the bathroom with his son, and they're there, and just he's struggling.
That was so sad.
He's struggling so much,
horrible.
you know. It's
so
hard.
I experienced that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Right. That's crazy.
Okay.
So yes, and Mr. Gary, would you use your medical alert unit mainly for medical reasons, security purposes, or for both?
I think I would use it for both, Miss Smith.
All right, no problem. And is there any health concerns that you're currently having, like high blood pressure, diabetes, or COPD?
No, you know, I just get really, I get really emotional when I watch this movie with Will Smith. It's called The Pursuit of Happyness. And there's a particular scene that just really tugs at my heart. I believe they're in the bathroom in the subway, and he's there with his son, and he's just real there holding him tight because they're going through a real hard time. It's like almost like he's homeless, you know. And I was watching that with my grandson, and it was just tugging at my heartstrings.
Yeah.
I was in tears. He wasn't. He kept asking me if I was, you know, I don't know, like if I was okay, and I told him yes. But it's one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen. It's an incredible movie. I just feel it just tugs at my heartstrings. So definitely would use it for emotional and definitely emergency whatever I need to. So
yeah, no problem. All right, no problem, Mr. Garrett. And have you ever had any lightheadedness or any dizzy spells?
I can tell you right now that there was this one time I was watching this movie with Will Smith. It's called The Pursuit of Happyness, and I felt lightheaded because it just got me really emotional.
Oh yeah, Mr. Gary, you just told me about that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just told me about that.
I did.
Your grandson, you were watching it with your grandchild, and yeah.
I told you about that. Oh, it's one of my favorite. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. I watched it with my grandson, and you know, I got real emotional, real dizzy and lightheaded from it. It was just one of the movies that just Yeah, it got tugs at my heartstrings. It just my heart started racing. I just got really emotional, and I could not believe how amazing that movie was. Will Smith is just such a great actor. He's my favorite actor.
Oh yeah, same. I do like a lot of Will Smith movies.
Yes.
And you said you have something wrong with your heart? Do you have heart problems running the family?
No, well, what happened was I was watching this movie called The Pursuit of Happyness with my grandson this one time, and there's a scene.
Oh yes, Mr. Garrett, you just told me about that.
Well, there's a scene in the subway, I believe they're in, and he's holding his son real tight, and they're basically just they're so emotional because I believe they're homeless, and my heart just kept pounding and pounding and pounding, and I could have sworn I was going to have a heart attack. I'm not sure what was going on, but it really, but I was in tears. Let me tell you, I was in tears. I was lightheaded. I was dizzy. My heart was pounding. And yes, and my grandson just asked me if I was all right. And I could not believe there wasn't not a single tear coming out of his eyes, like at all. I could not believe it one bit. Unbelievable, but.
Oh, wow.
Will Smith is one of my favorite actors. He's just amazing.
Yeah, I highly agree. I definitely like all of his movies. Most of them, actually.
Yeah, I didn't like that movie. I did not like that movie with the zombies. There was a movie I think he had with the zombies. It almost gave me a heart attack. But
I Am Legend, yeah.
Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah, I can't remember.
That one is quite scary.
Yeah, but what I do remember is this one time I was watching a movie with my grandson. I believe it's called The Pursuit of Happyness.
Oh yeah, Mr. Gary, you just mentioned that.
Did I tell you that just now?
Yeah, you just told me, Mr. Gary. Remember? Yeah. You told me about it. You said he's your favorite actor. There's something we both got in common. I do like some Will Smith.
He definitely is one of my favorite actors. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Gary, have you had any falls recently or in the past, or are you using anything to get around? Like, do you use a cane or a walker?
You know what? I did. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This one time I was watching this movie with my grandson. It's called The Pursuit of Happyness.
No, not the movie. I was asking, do you use?
Yes.
Mr. Gary?
Yeah. So what happened was?
I was asking, do you use anything to get around?
No. So what happened was I was standing, and I right at that scene where they're in the subway, I believe, and he's holding his son real tight. I dang near fell out my chair, and my heart was racing.
Oh, wow.
I felt really lightheaded and dizzy, and I was so dizzy I literally felt like I was gonna fall over. And then I was literally falling over, and my grandson just not a dry eye, man. I just my eyes were both watering. My grandson just was not.
Yeah, you said he wasn't crying.
Not at all. No emotion whatsoever. I almost fell out of my chair, and he didn't do anything. I couldn't believe it. Good thing I used to be a basketball player back in the days, and I was able to hold myself up. So,
really?
Yes. But I almost fell over. Yes, I almost did. I don't use a scooter anymore. I did at one point just because I thought it was easier to get around, but I don't any longer.
Okay, so you only one needed, no problem. All right, and you do sound pretty youthful, Mr. Gary. Do you still go out and do groceries when you have to, or are you usually homebound? Like you stay in the home most of the time?
Well, usually I'm at home. Usually I've got a great movie on. It's called The Pursuit of Happyness. Will Smith is in it. And there's this one particular scene that just tugs at my heart every single time that I see it. It's a movie with Will Smith, and it basically talks about him really, really going after his goals and his dreams. And there's this one particular scene in the movie.
I've seen the movie before, Mr. Gary.
Yeah, there's one particular scene in the movie.
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Yeah, this one particular scene in the movie with the subway, and he's holding his son there, and they're just going through a real hard time. I believe they're going homeless. His wife is just very difficult, and just, she doesn't understand how hard it is to sell those x-ray machines, I think is what he was selling. But you know what? My grandson, he did not cry at all during that movie. Was just crying like crazy during that movie. No, I was in tears, let me tell you. My heart was racing. But usually that's the movie that's on my I have it on repeat here at home. So I watch it all the time. It's
you know that movie front and back.
I'm telling you, it's there's one particular scene where he tells him, don't ever let anyone tell you not to go after your dreams. Not even me, I think is what he says. And that's so inspiring, you know. I want to tell you
Oh
the
yeah,
same
that's
thing, you know. Don't ever let
definitely
anybody tell you not to go after your dreams.
right. Because
Yeah.
it's true.
Okay.
I completely understand that, Mr.
Mhm.
Gary. And today I actually see that you do qualify to receive our new mobile monitoring unit. So because it is mobile, it will keep you safe and healthy, not only at home, but anywhere you go in the United States with their cell phone coverage. This one is also the one that is safe to wear in the shower, and it is water resistant because that is where a lot of slips or falls have a tendency to happen. And where would you like us to send your equipment to today? Do you use the P.O. box or you get all your mail at your physical address?
No, I get mail here. I have a subscription to well, there's one time there was a movie. I'm not sure if I've told you this or not, but there was a movie but with Will
Yeah,
Smith,
you
and
told
it's
me.
called The Pursuit of Happyness. And I signed up for a newsletter, and
Yeah, I've seen that
occasionally I get mail from that. Not the movie itself, but I guess the producers, and they send me to my physical address. And there's one particular scene that really tugs at my heartstrings. There's the scene
Oh
in
yeah,
the
what's
subway.
that physical address? Where you want us to?
Well,
What's that physical address? What they say?
well, let me tell you about this scene because it's an incredible scene where he's in this subway, I think it is, in the bathroom with the son, and he's just holding him tight, just making sure that
I've
he's.
seen the movie, Mr. Gary.
Oh, what was your favorite scene in it?
My favorite scene?
Yes, your favorite scene in
It
the whole
probably
movie.
wasn't that one. Probably the end, the happiness part, where he actually finally got the promotion, and he was crying in front of his boss.
Oh
Because he
yeah.
was so happy he got it. He was trying not to cry, but he was
Yeah,
crying.
yeah. I cried.
He finally got it.
I cried
the whole
one.
movie was
Yeah,
sad.
I cried one time in front of my boss, but it was for a completely different reason. But yeah, that's.
Oh wow.
Well, I was getting fired. You know, it's not necessarily
I don't know what.
the best feeling in the
Yeah.
world, but was not so happy there. But
Mhm.
yeah, so you want my address? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, you got a great shipping address where you want us to send your mail. Send your equipment to.
Oh, you're gonna send my mail? Okay. Yeah, I can give you.
I meant to say send your equipment, send your unit.
You send me a unit for what?
Yes,
what exactly is
your
it?
life-saving device. Your life-saving unit.
Is it like the ones that
that little.
Yeah, but my great grandkids they have this device they play. It makes this sound. It's like a toot 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 toot. I think something like that. Toot toot. It makes a beeping sound, and it's I think they said it's from the Power Rangers.
Mario sounds like a game.
I think they said it's from
they
like
said Power Rangers.
yeah,
I thought you were thinking Mario.
some Rangers of like Power or something. Some Power Rangers. And
yeah,
and
probably Power Rangers.
Is this what you're going to be sending me? Because they've already got one of those units.
No, this is actually that little button you wear around your neck that you would press for help in case of an emergency, like a bad fall. You've probably seen commercials on TV for these units that have fallen and can't get up. It's something similar to that.
Yeah. No, anytime I fall in, I definitely can get up. I'm 80 years old, but I'm in dang good shape. Let me tell you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So, are you looking?
That's great. You are in good shape.
Are you wanting my address, or is that the same address that this one time I signed up for this newsletter? I'm not sure if you've ever heard, but there's a movie called The Pursuit of Happyness. It's with this actor named Will Smith. He's in it, and there's this one particular scene in the movie.
Yes, I'm already familiar.
Yeah, there's one particular scene in the movie where he's with his son in the subway, I believe, in the bathroom, and he's just holding his son there, and he's in tears basically because they're going through a real hard time, and eventually he gets out of there. And it turns out to be a good thing, but I was in tears during that scene. I mean, it just tugged at my heart because I remember losing my job and trying to go into business for myself, selling those units he was selling. It's a tough sell. It's a very tough sell. Let me tell you, it's just a very hard sell. But
yeah, I completely understand.
Have you heard of that movie before, The Pursuit of Happyness?
Yes, I've seen the movie plenty of times. Probably as many times as you watch.
Yeah, I get dizzy, lightheaded. I get dizzy, lightheaded. Yes, sir. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, no problem. And do you currently live independently? Like, do you live on your own, or do you stay with the family? Does the family live with you?
No, I stay with my family.
Wonderful. Now, are you taking any medication for anything over the counter or
Nope.
prescribed by a doctor?
Nope, I'm not taking any medication. I've got a very sharp mind, as they say. You know, it's yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. And Mr. Gary, what is that shipping address, or do you use a P.O. box or
No.
your physical address where you want us to send your unit?
My unit. Okay. That's for what exactly again?
It's a life-saving device. You know, if you're in any kind of emergency, you'll just press this button.
Press a button. Okay. My grandkids, well, my great grandkids actually, they have this device. They say that if you push the button, apparently it's some ranger powers or something along those lines, and it supposedly does it makes a beeping sound. Is this the same device? They say that if you push the button, then you save people's lives. Is that what this does as well? Yes. Hello. Hello.
Yes, I'm still here.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Who's this? Hello.
Huh?
Hello.
Yeah, this is Jada. You know, with our promotion today, you do qualify for a free medical alert system. You know, are you familiar with medical alert systems?
Yes, I am. I believe. Is it the fallen and can't get up people?
Yes, absolutely. Yep,
I saw the commercials. I saw the commercials on TV here about 20, 30 years ago, I believe.
Oh, okay, no problem. Different.
Okay. And what did you say your name? What did you say your name was?
Jada.
Jada.
My name is Jada.
Wow. You know, my favorite actor is Will Smith, and there's one particular movie
you told me.
There's one particular movie he's in called The Pursuit of Happyness. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, but there's this one scene where he's in the bathroom with his son in the subway, I believe, and they basically, I mean, this brings me to tears every time that I see it, and he basically is like
you told me, Mr. Gary. Don't you remember?
It brings me to tears every single time, and just man, my grandson, he was watching the movie with me, and not a single tear came out of his eyes. I could not believe it. You know, I dang near felt dizzy. I almost fell over. It was just unbelievable. But
lightheaded, yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. I play it all the time here in my home. Yes.
Yeah, and do you have a family member that comes by and check up on you every now and then?
Yeah, I get my grandson. My grandson I just told you about. He comes by once in a while, come take a look at me, make sure that I'm still here.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm sleeping and he comes real close to my face and just kind of real close, and I open my eyes. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Just making sure you're still breathing, Grandpa." You know, and I'm like, "Okay." It's kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. You know.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. But look, as long as he's still checking up on you, that's real good. Because a lot of people don't care about their grandparents, and it's so sad.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's good. He's still there for you.
Yeah, it is.
No problem.
You know,
Mr. Gary, you know a great shipping address where you want us to send your equipment to today?
You want my address?
Yeah, or a P.O. box, whatever you get your mail.
No, I use my address. I'm subscribed to this newsletter I got from that movie I told you about, The Pursuit of Happyness. Have you seen that movie before?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the movie, Mr. Gary.
Will Smith is one of my favorite actors. He was in that movie, and he was there's this one particular scene where he's holding his son in the subway. I believe they're in the bathroom stall. I can't remember exactly, but they're going through a real hard time. I think almost in the process of being homeless. And you know, he's just holding him tight, and I just tear up every single time I see that scene. It just completely, I fall apart every single time. You know, my heart pounds uncontrollably, and my eyes just, I mean, it's like Niagara Falls. Let me tell you, it just waterworks. Let me tell you, my grandson, not a single tear.
It's a great movie.
I look at my grandson. There's not a single tear coming out of his eye. I cannot believe.
Oh yeah.
I cannot believe it. He just does not.
Yeah.
Does not.
Yeah, I understand. Well, Mr. Gary, do you have pen and paper around you? I want you to take out our website so you can get your unit.
Oh, okay.
Do you think your grandson can do that for you? Look up the website.
I've got a pencil and a paper right here. Did you want something about my address?
Okay, yeah.
I know you mentioned something about a P.O. box.
Oh, yeah. Do you got a great shipping address where you want us to send your equipment to today?
I've got my address. I can give you my address.
Okay, that works.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready.
All right, madam. Well, what's the zip code first so I can find the city and state first?
Oh, no problem. It's 60605.
Alrighty, no problem. And that street address when you're ready?
It's 593 Vine Street. It's in Chicago.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
You know, Chicago is called the Windy City. Have you heard of that before?
You said it's called what?
It's called the Windy City. Have you heard of that before?
No, I never heard of that term before.
Yeah, Chicago is the Windy City, and it's really windy here. Once in a while, it gets really super windy, especially down by the Bean. It gets super windy. It's incredible, but yeah, and you know, it just reminds me of this one scene in the movie The Pursuit of Happyness. It's got my favorite actor in it. There's a scene with him and his son in the Will Smith, and he's basically in this bathroom stall in the subway, I believe. And
yeah, he's homeless. He just got evicted.
Oh, did you see that movie?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the movie.
I cry every single time. I'm telling you, I just bawl my eyes out every single time, just uncontrollably. I just cry and cry and cry. And man, it's a tearjerker. My grandson, he watched the movie with me, and not a single tear, not once, not a single time has he ever shed a tear watching this movie. I cannot believe it. I dang near fell out of my chair the one time I was watching with him, and he just basically asked me if I was okay.
Yeah, because he didn't cry.
Yeah, he doesn't cry. I don't know. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I understand. But Mr. Gary, you know, the great thing, what I'm going to do for you is, first of all, I'm not going to qualify you for the unit that works at home.
Okay.
I'm going to qualify you for the one that works away from home. You know, in case you go out and about. This one is also safe to wear in the shower.
Okay.
It is water resistant because this is where a lot of slips and falls have a tendency to happen. So congratulations on calling us on our promotion day. You'll be saving a lot of money with us. Now, for your convenience, your protection, and of course your safety, we do take care of that monitoring fee electronically. So go ahead and grab your checkbook or a debit or credit card, and we'll get this unit out to you right away.
Okay.
And do you have a middle initial, Mr. Gary, or is just Gary Willikers?
It's just Gary Willikers. What did you say? You needed a credit card?
For your monitoring service, so we can get your unit out to you right away.
Yes.
However you want to take care of it. Credit or debit card, or you have a checkbook.
How much is that on a monthly basis? Did you say?
Mostly it's just $39.99, and we also guarantee we'll never raise that rate for as long as you have your service with us. We just want you to be protected and have that peace of mind you deserve.
Okay.
So let's get this life-saving unit out to you right away, Mr. Gary. You have a checkbook?
No, I've got
I
got a credit card. I think it's a MasterCard. I believe, you know. Do you know? I did some research into MasterCard roughly before it came out. Do you know why it's called a MasterCard?
No.
So they say that basically, you know, basically people get into lots of debt, and then they become enslaved to the debt, and so the card becomes their master, and it's quite sad actually if you think about it. I know lots of people roughly my age that are trying to retire, but they can't. They've just got so much debt, and it's just unbelievable. But apparently that's why it's called a MasterCard. But I ended up getting one of them.
The MasterCard.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I ended up getting one. So do you want the full 16? I think there's 16 digits on this thing. Is that what you want?
Yeah, you can read the numbers whenever you're ready.
Okay, it's a 16 digits. You want the full 16 digits?
Yes.
Okay. It's 5 quadrillion, 321 trillion, 754 billion, 936 million.
Oh, you don't have to read it like that.
Well,
Oh, you don't gotta read it like that. You can just read it one by one. I'm not gonna know you know how to write that out.
you said 16 digits, right?
Yeah, you can read the number one by one, so don't make any mistakes, and you won't have to read it over and over again.
No, it's a 16 digits. It's easy. It's just simple mathematics. So it's 5 quadrillion, 321 trillion, 754 billion, 936 million, 258,153.
She hung up, guys. Can you believe it took that much for her to hang up? How many times? I don't even know. How many times did I talk about the Pursuit of Happyness? She finally hung up, guys. That was like almost 40 minutes. And she would stay on the line. How do you do that to a senior? How? I do not understand that. How do you do that to a senior, man? Holy shnikes. Honestly, I don't know how you could do that to a senior, man. Like, honestly, I was feeling sad because that's just like a whole other level of just like, I don't even know what to say. I literally do not know what to say. That was some crazy-ish, man. Some crazy stuff.
Don't try to make me fool, okay?
Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks again for watching. Again, if you like what I'm doing on the channel, please consider subscribing. If you like the video, please make sure you hit that thumbs up. But more importantly, like I always say, please make sure you share this video so we can prevent more people from being scammed. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.